Hello and welcome back to the finals. This week we have Aaron on Kinnan, Bonder Prodigy, versus Tom on his usual Azusa Lost But Seeking deck.
We've seen Tom playing this deck a couple of times before.
Yes.
He's proven himself as a capable player. Worth noting that this is Aaron's first time at FNM, and he's already made it to the finals. So
He's showboating, yeah, he's doing really well.
his Kinnan deck, I believe, is a modified version of a Kinnan CDH deck. Kinnan being a very top-tier contender in CDH, kind of wavering in and out depending on the meta.
Yes.
So Tom's opening hand, a couple of notable cards in there. I think the most important one is crop rotation. By playing Forest turn 1, crop rotationing into a depletion land, it allows him to power out turn to Azusa, and Tom's whole deck really is built around turn 2 Azusa.
Yeah, no, a good line, and one I think wouldn't be immediately obvious to people who don't know the deck, like me.
So Aaron's first hand there, he's decided to mulligan away. I think that his mana was a little bit awkward.
I don't think he had green mana, and he had green mana accelerant.
The enchantment mana dork.
And a 2 mana signet, so probably a little bit slow of a start, and he wants something a bit more explosive.
Yeah, so I think it's worth talking about the decks while he's shuffling. The aims of the Kinnan deck and CDH mainly is built around Basalt Monolith combo.
Yes.
So the idea of this is Basalt Monolith is a 3 mana artifact, taps for 3 colourless, and you can pay 3 colourless to untap it. If you have a Kinnan in play, you tap it for 4 colourless, pay 3 to untap it, and this generates you infinite mana.
Yeah.
Pair that with a bit of coloured mana, which you can get from your other abilities. You can activate Kinnan's ability a bunch of times.
Well, I actually used to play a Kinnan deck when I used to play a little bit of EDH before we started doing this. There are various ways you could filter mana. There's a colourless 2/1 that you can pay 2 mana to make 1 mana of any colour. When you have infinite colourless mana, that's just infinite activations. Also, infinite mana lets you do things like kill people on the spot with a ballista, that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Very powerful. So this is the new hand that Aaron's got. Bottoming the Jin-Gitaxias.
Makes sense. Doesn't really want that in his hand.
He's got a bit of versatility with his hand. He's got some interruption. His Muddle Mixture could be a counterspell or it can be a tutor.
Good versatility, yeah.
Is it a 3 mana spell?
I think it's a 2 mana spell with a 3 mana transmute cost.
Sure, so it can't go get the Basalt Monolith, but see what he grabs with it.
Yeah.
Leading with
he might be able to get something that can then subsequently get him the Basalt Monolith. You tend to build your deck entirely around putting Basalt Monolith into play.
That makes a lot of sense. So yeah, Tom, as I mentioned, crop rotations of the forest, presumably to get a depletion land here.
Yeah.
So he can power out that Azusa.
I think Tom's going to be hungry here. For this win.
Sure. Yes.
He's mentioned on multiple occasions how he's been a runner-up a few times. And I think he feels he's ready for the win.
He's not.
So he's going to be going into this match excited, and we're rooting for him. He's the local boy.
I also know that he mentioned that this night, so this was a couple of weeks ago because we had the Christmas break, but he was 2-0 every single round.
Yeah, I was one of those victims.
As was I. Round 3.
No, he was on fire that night. So yeah, he must be feeling confident going into this last match.
How did you do overall that night? Do you remember?
Not good. Lost my first 2 matches, and my last 2 matches I won in ways that I don't normally win with the deck. I was playing my usual Serac deck, but those last 2 matches were a lot less about counterspells and more about curving out with the few threats and creatures I have. So I think next time I'm going to try the deck with more of those. Less counter, more threats.
Yeah, you said
turn it into more of a mid-range deck.
You're thinking of running Kellen?
I was considering Kinnan as just a 1-drop. Sadly, Ragavan is banned.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. I can't understand why that completely overpowered 1-drop is banned.
You could just run Kari Zev and then use Ragavan as a token.
Oh, yeah. Very powerful. Very powerful.
So Aaron here is Worldly Tutoring.
Remind me which one Worldly Tutor gets. Is it creatures?
It's creatures, top of library.
Okay. And this is presumably at the end of Tom's turn?
I believe so, yeah. He didn't do anything on his first turn.
Fine. So he's going to put something that he can then cast. That makes sense? What do we think he's going to go for?
I honestly have no idea. I'm assuming it's some sort of mana dork. I don't think he had any in his hand.
I'm guessing. What's the one?
Based on how he's looking, I don't think he knows. I think he's thinking. Right. Trophy Mage gets the Basalt Monolith, so that makes sense.
We were just talking about that one. Multiple ways to find the Basalt Monolith.
It's also I've seen playtesting a lot against Glab. I've seen World Tutor basically as an Entomb with Glab in play.
Oh yeah, if
you can surveil.
If you have a surveil land, you can respond to the trigger Yeah, Jude was showing me that when he came to play last time.
Very powerful.
Yeah, it's good. Considering that's a banned card, it's nice to have a build
Way to
your own
choose it.
in Tomb, yeah.
So Trophy Mage on top means that if Tom isn't fast enough, Aaron's basically guaranteed the win.
I think so, yeah. And playing against mono green, I imagine Aaron feels fairly confident in just running out the Kinnan. I wonder if he'll do it on turn 2 because Tom's unlikely to have a lot of removal.
True.
And he does exactly that. Most green removal is dependent on you having a creature in play to then sort of fight or punch your opponent's creatures.
And if Tom was to spend 3 mana to play, is it Beast Women?
Yes, that's an option.
That would be using up one of his depletion counters.
Yeah, and slowing
skipping the side of
himself
Azusa. And yeah, it feels like that wouldn't really be too bad for Aaron either.
I guess ramp deck versus ramp deck is a race, isn't it?
Yeah.
So as predicted, Azusa on turn 2.
Well, in a way, Tom's ramp is almost like a fairer kind of ramp.
Yes.
He's trying to ramp and then curve out and get a 2020.
Harder to disrupt though, I think, because it's all land based, whereas Kinnan is creature or at least artifact permanent based, things that can be more easily removed.
I feel like the thing that Aaron would be more worried about is running out the monolith because Green's got a lot of artifacts.
You want to be able to do the combo when you have the monolith with the turn you play it.
So yeah. I really wonder what he's tutoring for here with Trophy.
Considering, I don't know. I mean, again, this is probably safe to do compared to other opponents because there's no Thoughtseize, there's no counterspell. He's quite. It's got to be difficult for Tom because it's difficult for him to disrupt.
Yeah, it's funny.
What's going on the other side of the board?
Tom describes his deck as a mono green control deck. I'm not saying he's wrong, but.
Well, it controls your opponent's life total and it hits you with a 2020 flying indestructible.
Aspiring spike. Coded.
Yes, absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, I've seen it described by other people as a control deck. So it doesn't feel like I'm playing against a control deck to me when I'm playing against Azusa.
It feels more like a combo.
Yeah.
I completely agree. It feels much more like a combo deck to me. And Azusa is such an annoying creature because if you let her hit the board and let Tom play a few extra lands, killing it then doesn't really do anything.
And the way timing works, if you're not countering it, you can't kill it before the lands enter.
Correct. Yeah.
You don't get priority.
Well, you can if and I don't think Tom would do this if he plays a land with some kind of an ETB effect, like a surveil land. You can then kill it in response and stop him playing another land.
So if you're an Azusa pilot, the sequencing should be play your first land that's just a basic land, then play the ETB land
as late as possible, definitely. Oh, get a bit.
So that's a mulch, I believe. Yeah.
Which is, does he still play about 50% lands in his deck?
Yeah, it's insane.
So it should
I feel like every time he plays mulch against me, he gets 4 lands.
Yeah, so unfair.
So yeah, playing 2 lands of Azusa. Richard Import here as well is quite annoying as well. When Tom's ramping so much, he can afford to just put that resource away to deny his opponent.
Absolutely. And this is Sylvan Scrying, isn't it? So what do we think he's going to get? Some sort of combo land?
Either he's getting, if he's got Dark Depths, or
he'll get the other one.
He'll get the other one.
If he's got neither, do you think he would go for something else, or he would just try and slowly assemble the combo?
I'm not sure. I think there's a lot of really good value lands, like for Glacial Chasm, but I don't think this is a good Glacial Chasm matchup.
No, not in this case, I don't think, no. Well, I suppose it depends on how the Kinnan player is trying to kill. If he's trying to do like a Crater Behemoth...
I think it's like a Finale Devastation normally.
Which is essentially the same thing, which is combat damage. So maybe not a bad card.
I don't think Tom's played against Kinnan, and I don't think Tom follows CDH, so I don't think he necessarily knows what he's up against.
Okay, that's fair.
That could be a wrong assumption on my part, but...
No, that seems reasonable.
I believe that was Thespian Stage.
That was Thespian Stage. It looked like a Secret Lair-y one then.
Yes.
Didn't recognise it.
Tom likes his Secret Lairs.
Yes, I see a lot of Secret Lairs. It's nice. People bling out their decks and make them look pretty.
So Thespian Stage in hand. Potentially he's got Dark Depths as well, or he feels he has another way to search for it. I feel like Thespian Stage is the better part of the combo to grab blind.
Well, it taps for mana.
It does something.
Yes.
Although you could always...
Sometimes you can copy your opponent's lands. It's not unheard of to do.
You keep Dark Depths and just do it fairly.
Yeah.
But you could run Dark Depths and Kinnan. Infinite mana, make a 2020. I mean, probably better things to do, but...
I would imagine so, yes. Probably a little bit slow compared to something like Walking Ballista.
So yeah, Tom here porting the command tower, locking Aaron blue.
Yeah.
Feels relevant.
I'm trying to work out what the card he just drew is. Again, it looks like some kind of full art.
It's not a card I recognise.
Creature.
I think it might be a Foundations card. Looks like a Foundations card.
Okay.
We can see the Arbor Elf. Obviously the combo piece, but he doesn't have 3 mana to play it.
Yeah.
He doesn't have any mana dorks in play, so Kinnan isn't really doing anything right now, apart from beating face.
So, attacking your opponent with 2/2s is another
Something a lot of casual
dubious
Commander
win
players
condition.
forget
Yes.
is that combat is how you win the game.
You can't just hit your opponent. Yeah. And how did your night go, Ryan?
Yeah, I think I was 3-1 in the end, so I was very happy with that.
Okay.
Only loss was to Tom. And
how does the deck feel?
Octavia felt really good.
You've tweaked it a bit.
I've tweaked it a bit. I'm really liking how it's coming along. I still don't think it's as good as Lightpaws. I feel like it might be one of those things where it will never be as good as Lightpaws.
Not in your heart.
No. Or maybe it could, if I'm being completely honest, it could just be like a skill issue. Like,
I doubt.
I think Lightpaws is a little bit easier to pilot. Once you know the
Sure.
lines, you're kind of just trying to do the same lines over and over again.
Yes.
Whereas with Octavia, there's a lot more in-game threat assessment and trying to figure out, in this specific instance, what should I do? And I think I definitely have noticed myself misplaying Octavia more than with Lightpaws.
Probably just because you're not used to that style of play.
Getting used to it.
I wouldn't undervalue playing decks like Lightpaws because they're sort of combo style decks, which you're right, when you're unopposed, it is very sort of, you could almost have an AI do it and go through the motions. Where the real skill in playing those kind of decks is when you're under pressure, when you have hate pieces in play, how do you navigate that?
Those are the fun matchups.
Yeah,
I really,
absolutely.
I enjoy playing Lightpaws through difficult scenarios.
Yeah, and that's where the skill comes in. I think we saw the Oblivion Stone get blown up while we were talking.
Returns to nature.
Yeah, good card. This is the Gain 4 life card, isn't it? Back to Nate? No. I'm thinking of a 1-mana one that destroys.
It's a control against 4 life. Now, this is a 2-mana one. Destroy an artifact, destroy an enchantment, exile a card from a graveyard.
Yes, modular one. Okay, that makes sense. Course of Crufix.
Classic.
Good card. Remember that from the old days.
So there's a lot of blue in Aaron's hand, unfortunately.
Yes. Sorry, go on.
Sorry, I'm just saying Tom's making a point of keeping that Richland port to the side and not allowing him to use it.
It's sensible, you don't want to accidentally tap it for mana. I was thinking about Course of Crufix is very much a card from the old days, because these days that card would be look at the top card of your library, not reveal the top card of your library.
Yeah.
So giving your opponent perfect information isn't always a good thing. It is a drawback. It's an actual drawback to the card. What are we doing here?
Putting another counter onto the Blast Zone so that it can destroy Kinnan.
I see. Very good.
Blast Zone is a card that's very frustrating. It's
difficult very to interact with as well.
Good out for Lightpaws.
Yes. Oh, of course. Yeah, blow up all the auras.
Yeah. Oh, blow up Lightpaws.
Which you can't protect against because it's a destroy effect and it's colourless.
Yes.
Sure. But Totem Armor would work though, wouldn't it?
Totem Armor would work, yeah.
And he's a Once Upon a Time on top for Tom.
There is. But she definitely can't cast for free. I don't know how many spells he's cast, but he's definitely cast spells.
Yeah.
So I thought this must be a very frustrating game for Aaron to be playing.
He's stuck on lands, yeah, it's difficult. And when your opponent's putting multiple lands in a turn, it's even rubbing salt into the wounds.
And tapping down your lands. He's finally got another land, but it doesn't tap for blue.
What's that one? Is that the one that...
Homeward Path.
Yes, that gives your stuff back.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which actually, surprisingly, is quite relevant because one of Tom's big finishes is the Emrakul. That
steals all the things.
Yeah. And it's still a very big flying meter, but at least he gets stuff back. I don't know if it's a card that's necessarily as good in this format as it is in CDH.
Yeah, I don't know how well the cards port over. I'm a little bit surprised to see the Basalt Mammoth being run out here. Like you said about it being vulnerable to artifact removal, although it seems to be doing something with the infinite mana.
Unless he's got something to do, there's this Blast Zone in play that he could just take up to 3 and destroy it if someone needs to.
But I think we must be missing something that he's got in hand that he can use infinite mana, infinite colourless mana on.
I think he's just kind of demonstrating what he can do.
Oh, I was explaining it to Tom how it works. Yeah. Right, I see.
Yeah, he's just passing.
Oh, so he is. Oh, see, that is risky.
I mean, it could be to do with if he doesn't deploy it now,
yes,
and then next turn he draws a card that he can win, but he needs green mana. The more turns he just kind of waits and lets Tom have an advantage. Maybe this is his window.
Yeah, or maybe he, like you said, might have been getting a tiny bit frustrated, possibly.
Maybe both.
Maybe. Right, so there's is it that the land that copies lands in a graveyard on top?
Yeah, Echoing Depths.
Thank you.
From Lost Caverns of Ixalan.
Yeah. It's a nice piece of redundancy there for Tom in case something does get blown up that's important for him.
I'm wondering, the card in Aaron's hand, the one that we weren't sure of what it is. I think that could be like a tooth and nail or something.
Oh, okay. Yes, tooth and nail would be good. Yeah, that's right.
Was that in Foundations?
I don't remember.
In the special guest slot? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, so set your library for 2 cards or put 2 creatures from your hand into the play and then entwine to do both. So
and with infinite colourless mana and 2 green.
You can just play it,
yeah. That's my theory for what's going on.
I like the theory.
It could be wrong.
Let's see how it plays out.
So Tom seems to be thinking here.
Yeah, they seem to be maybe talking about something.
So he's playing Depths.
Play that off the course of prefix.
I think that hand wave was to say I'm not copying anything.
Right.
Mystic on top. Crack the fetch land to shuffle away again.
Fresh card.
Surprisingly, it's a forest. But again, the benefits of a monocoloured deck is you can't get the wrong one by accident.
I don't know what you're talking about. Although the downside, no surveil lands.
That's true. I unironically would love them to print a cycle of monocoloured surveil lands.
They'd be very powerful.
I would love them. Every deck I
Well, they'd have to be fetchable to be as powerful.
Yeah, plains surveil.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, land on Urza's Cave, so that's huge. Because Urza's Cave, Tom can sacrifice to get the Dark Depths.
Yeah, complete the combo, get the 2020.
It's so funny because when Tom first built his deck, and his first iteration of the deck was nowhere near as powerful as this version.
Yes.
But he was running Urza's Cave, and I was like, Tom, that's not a good card. And then he used it to get part of a combo, and I was like, Tom, I was wrong about that card.
Immediately doing it.
It doesn't read as very good, but in this deck, it
tutors for lands. It's a land that tutors for lands, and as we saw with him shuffling away the Crucible of the Worlds, Tom's got multiple ways of getting the lands back out the graveyard. You could tutor multiple times with it. The whole deck is set up to do this.
It does it very well. I mean, there's a couple cards that are just. I think it's Titania's Command. It's 6 mana, searches for 2 lands into play. That's just a 20/20 right there.
Dust Bowl. Interesting. I suppose, Aaron's been missing multiple land drops.
Sure.
And in combination with the Richard and Port, it's going to get unpleasant.
So I think the cave puts it to play tapped.
Right.
So I'm quite surprised he didn't get the Dark Depths and
me too.
Create a 20/20 event. That's lethal next turn. Aaron can't do anything about it.
Like you say, it comes into play taps. We've still got to wait a turn to start activating the Port.
What's my time?
The Dust Bowl.
So does Tom have to reveal all the cards here?
No, I think it's look. It'll probably be on. You'll put it on the pop-up,
sure.
but I think it's look at the top 5, and then obviously you have to reveal because it's either creature or land.
Yeah, but he doesn't have to reveal each card.
I don't think he do.
Sure.
I don't think he do.
Because I know that if you play a card that says draw 3 cards while your top's revealed, you have to show each card.
Oh, you're thinking, of course, of Crufix. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yes, if you draw 3 cards, you have to show each one to your opponent.
But if it's look at the top 5,
if it's look at the top of your library, they have to always see what's on the top of the library.
Yeah.
But the other cards underneath it are considered to still be in the library and not then revealed.
Gotcha. Okay.
Good catch.
Yeah, thank you. So Tom here should be flipping the top of his library again, but...
Oh, he doesn't have enough mana for Richardenport this turn. That's huge. That gives
him
Aaron blue for the first time in multiple turns.
Also judge. Tom's not at the top of his library. His library.
That is true, as we've literally just been talking about.
That's a DQ for Tom.
So Tom used the Blasto, didn't he, to put Kinnan away? So I guess there was a little bit less risk.
Aaron's caught it.
Aaron's caught it out.
And that's a scary top deck.
Can't do anything about the Basalt Monolith, though.
No, so Kinnan costs 4 mana.
Yeah.
So Aaron can replay Kinnan, get it from the colourless mana. It doesn't feel very good.
Unless he top decks a Ballista.
Unless he top deck a Ballista. Which he doesn't have in hand.
No. Well, there are some other cards. I think there's Thran Spider I was running in my deck, which has... It's a bit like Kinnan. It's like 7 colourless mana to activate, to then look at the top, let's say 5 cards of your library, put an artifact into play.
Okay.
So it kind of does Kinnan's activated ability, but without any colour mana requirements.
Interesting.
It also makes a tapped Power Stone when it comes into play, but wouldn't be relevant for what we're talking about. It's quite a nice addition to Kinnan. It's a little bit of redundancy for all the infinite mana that you can get and you want something to do with.
Aaron seems to be thinking a lot here.
Yeah, I mean he's got to be worried, right?
Yeah, I mean Tom's threatening to do a lot of things. So this is the tap for mana equal to the number of enchantments you control. At the moment, that's just 1 mana.
Which gives him another blue, which can't be interacted with by Richard Port
True.
or by the Dust Bowl.
It means that if
But it also dies to Ugin.
dies to Ugin, yes. So Tom plays Forest from the top, gains a life from the Corsair. Fierce Empath. It's a 3-mana creature, tutors for a 6-mana creature.
Yeah,
6 or more and put it into hand.
Yes, 6 or more goes to hand, but I'm thinking this could close the door on the game then, couldn't it? Get something impressive.
It does feel a little bit closed already.
I'd never but just count the Kinnan player out altogether.
That's fair.
Until they're actually dead.
If you give them the chance and he gets the infinite mana.
Or indeed any combo deck, really.
Yeah. They are built to just kind of win out.
Yeah, just do it, just in one turn. But yeah, Ugin's probably going to come down.
I thought if there was like a favourite bar, it would be leading quite
Yeah.
heavily in Tom's favour right now.
He's thinking about what he's going to do, though. He's not just slamming.
No, that's true.
That's good. Be disciplined. Think through your lines before you commit to them.
Okay, so he's Richard importing in his turn.
This is
play around
probably
counter magic.
Yeah, sensible.
Makes sense.
Aaron probably floats a blue here, and then Tom probably moves through to another stage. Yeah.
Ugin on the stack.
Yeah, I think that's why it's hovering in the air.
Yeah. Plays a dragon, so it flies. So that makes sense.
Sure. If you gave a planeswalker flying, does that mean you wouldn't be able to hit creatures without flying?
You're the judge.
I'm going to say
It's a really
yes.
good question.
As a flavour judge, yeah.
As a flavour judge.
I'm going to say yes.
Well, I'm assuming rules-wise, no.
I don't think it would matter if you gave a...
Can planeswalkers be creatures in other players' turns?
Yes. No, I don't think they're ever templated to be creatures in their
Other
opponent's
players'
turns. Yeah,
okay.
so probably for silly corner cases like this.
Rules like that, yeah.
So minus exile all permanents that have a colour.
Yeah.
CMC 3 or less.
That makes sense.
Well, does it though? Because he loses the Corsair.
True.
And he only really needs to get rid of the
the trophy mage does nothing here.
Yeah.
It existed just...
Oh, why is the top monolith going away? Whoops. Oh, dear.
Ah.
I wonder if that gets caught later. I'm very surprised that that's happened.
That is
oh dear, if Aaron does watch this back, he's going to be kicking himself. Well, like you said, the game's probably over already. But well, that's a mistake even I can't miss.
No, yeah. To clarify for those at home, Ugin, his negative ability exiles all coloured permanents, and Basalt Monolith is a colourless permanent.
Yeah.
And I don't think we've missed anything here. That just shouldn't have gone.
No, that just shouldn't have happened. Oh dear. I don't recognise this card. Windfall?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Both players discard and draw 7.
I think it's draw cards equal to the player with the most cards in hand, which I don't think is all that exciting here. It's about 4, isn't it? They both had 4.
Yeah.
So I guess you wheel away your hand if you don't like anything in it.
I feel like it's kind of probably just a bit of a desperation play.
Yeah, I think it's probably over now. Again, well, from Aaron's point of view, his Basalt Monolith's been exiled. Kinnan's back in the command zone, costing 4. There's an active Ugin in play. It's
and a Dust Bowl, which is going to start destroying all his lands.
Indeed, you probably just scoop here, right?
If you're a coward, maybe. Aaron is no coward.
Those are fighting words. Well, I'm thinking about playing on the clock.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
so when you're not used to playing with a clock, you might think it's incorrect to scoop here. But if you're intending to win games 2 and 3, you probably should scoop here.
And a bit of foreshadowing from the future, as we both know, this game does end up going to time.
It does, yes.
So time in the round. So perhaps if we were to be giving advice.
So remind me how Dust Bowl works, because I've never used it. Do you have to sack the Dust Bowl?
No. It's 3 mana tap, sacrifice a land.
Yeah.
Destroy target non-basic land.
So why are we not sacrificing a forest to us? But just showboating then, really, aren't we? Oh, I guess it comes back into play untapped.
Oh,
No,
right.
that's very good. See, Tom knows his deck inside and out.
What are you doing, Adam?
Why
Stop
are we
questioning
even?
Tom.
Well, I don't know why he sacked it the second time, but sure.
Well, I mean, if he replays Hatsune Miku, otherwise known as Azusa, he could have kept doing it.
That's
although
true.
although
If he had
only
the mana to do
target's
it.
not base glance, so it's basically useless.
Okay, fine. It's done its job. Oh, for our viewers at home, it's now snowing outside.
Oh, wow.
I'm glad I'm parked in the car park. Right, anyway.
So Aaron's untapped. He's running out an Arcane Signet, but
Yeah.
that's not enough, really.
I don't think so. He's got Command Sphere in hand and some other card.
That's
that might
nothing
be.
you can't refuse.
Yeah.
Which is a card, again, I think this is the thing going from the CDH to Duel Commander. It's the adjustment that I struggle with initially, is that cards that are really good in CDH aren't necessarily good here.
No.
I don't think an offer you can't refuse is actually good enough in this format.
I've never particularly liked the fact that you give your opponent 2 treasures.
But in CDH, it's really, really good.
Yes, it's funny, we come from different background. I never played CEDH. I played a bit of casual EDH, so I don't know what's sort of good and what's not good. So Boreal Grazer puts another land into play.
Temple of the False Gods.
Thank you.
Ancient Tomb at home.
Ancient Tomb at home. Pretty good in this deck.
It is indeed. Fierce Empath. Go get, I'm assuming Emrakul.
Yeah,
I think
something
it's just
finishing.
or maybe Prime Time, maybe.
He seems to really like Prime. He's added Prime Time recently to the deck, and he's very, very enamoured with it. I can understand why.
It's a very good card.
Yeah, when he's got all these lands that are utility and win conditions and whatnot. But I think, here Emrakul is probably a good shout just to finish the game.
Prime Time, get Dark Depths, activate First Spin Stage.
Yeah.
It's probably better than Emrakul when your opponent's got no creatures to steal.
Yeah, true. Oh, he's going to blow up more lands. Nice.
Jim would be proud.
Yes. So I can't remember the name of this one.
Void Render?
Yeah,
No,
that sounds about right.
Maybe, something like that.
So cast trigger, destroy a land, enchantment or artifact.
Yep.
Or exile probably, since it's an Eldrazi. And we're still fighting on with one forest in play.
He's got 16 life at the moment. Uptick, Bolt Face.
Yep.
13.
I mean, you definitely swing with the Arboreal Grazer here as well, just to send a message.
Yeah. Goes to 7, which is lethal next turn.
Yeah.
In the upkeep, Tom's Richard importing the forest.
Still past the turn back, amazing. And then
swings out. Yeah, wow, brutal.
Oh, let's come back for game 2 then. Very impressive.
Game 2. Welcome back to the finals, heading into game 2 now. Scores on the doors, Tom is 1-0 in a longly drawn out match.
Yes.
So Kinnan, I'm assuming, taking the play here. Fortunately, having to mulligan to 4.
Yes. But what a 4?
Well, I mean, you've played Kinnan. Do you want to explain?
Yeah. So what Aaron is going to keep is 2 lands, the Manadork, which you'll remember the name of.
I don't. It's the enchantment one.
But more importantly, Penim's Umbra, which is an aura that says enchanted creature has blue, untap this creature. So as long as the Manadork taps for more than 1 mana, one of which is at least is blue, it can make infinite mana, which is exactly what's going to happen when Kinnan is in play.
So combo in hand.
So start with the Manadork.
Tom's hand, alternatively, was 4 lands, an Elvish Mystic, and a Titania.
Yes. So turn 2 Azusa again, which is exactly what Tom wants to do.
Yep, but not much follow up there.
No, as fans of Numot the Nami would know, it's all ramp and no pamp.
Which is a phrase I'd never heard before until about a second ago when you explained it to me, and I almost spit my tea out laughing. So what's Aaron drawn into here? So it's worth, again, mulliganing to 4.
Mulliganing to 4, but he's a combo deck,
1.
and he had... That is, if he could pick 4 cards out of his deck, it might be those, because Penim's Umbra doesn't work on...
How much does Penim's Umbra cost?
I think it's like 3 mana.
Okay.
So he might be missing a second blue to cast it. So maybe he wouldn't pick those 4, but this is pretty close to what you would pick.
But with Kinnan now, he gets the double blue.
Oh, yeah, gross.
Well, I think he's unsure of what he wants to do here.
So I think... Oh, I thought Tom was waving a hand. No, okay. So this is another mana producing creature? I don't recognise that card.
Neither does Tom by the looks of it.
I can only assume it's mana producing because it's in a Kinnan deck.
Yes.
It's a 2 mana one, which is unusual.
Probably produces more than one amount of mana.
Perhaps, yeah. We'll find out, I guess.
So not running up a Kinnan yet.
Is that Wasteland?
No, that's a Maze of Ith.
Oh, of course, Wasteland is banned.
Wasteland is banned.
Wasteland.
Tom would definitely be running Wasteland if he could.
Yeah, I think we'd all want to run Wasteland if we could. Yeah, Maze of Ith. Yeah, good against single attacker. I'm not sure how this game is going to end.
No. So Tom here, I've not seen what he's been drawing into, but all we know about in his hand is a Titania, which doesn't really achieve anything here. There's no land in the graveyard to get back.
No.
He's not got a way to sacrifice lands to get those 5/3s coming back again, so he's not really got anything to do.
Yeah, I wonder if he doesn't do much here, with his confidence will start to wane. Because winning the first game and then your opponent mulliganing to 4, you've got to start to be just imagining what your victory speech is going to be like.
You've already won at that point.
Yeah, so not having a follow-up to this ramp
so presumably
is worrying.
That card taps for mana of any colour, because he's just tapped.
But yes, very good.
Now tapping for 2 blue.
So now he can play Penim's Umbra, but he won't be able to untap it unless I'm missing something.
No, I think you're accurate. That would be spending 3 mana. That would be all his mana.
And then he's exposing his combo to some kind of interaction like a Beast Within. So plays another mana out.
Playing it safe.
Yeah, that seems fine. Probably 1, 2, 3, 4.
He's got a lot of mana.
He has an activation next turn without anything else. So on board, he
Sure.
has one activation of Kinnan next turn. So that's good, at least got to make Tom worry slightly, because he could spin into something crazy.
Tom here is just playing Titania for no value.
Yeah.
Not looking good.
That's not looking good. Bears of Paradise the draw, but I don't think it matters. So
Yep.
put him on the mana dock. Now we can make infinite mana of any colour, because what can happen is you can make infinite blue and then use that infinite blue to tap the creature infinite times to make green.
Yes.
So it is effectively infinite mana of any colour of your choice in any combination of your choice.
And now this is where Kinnan. The thing about I think Kinnan is the kind of shows modern design philosophy where you've got the setup and the payoff.
It's ridiculous on a 2 mana creature.
2 mana creature.
Absolutely ridiculous.
You ramp your
card.
mana and then you have something to do with all that ramp mana.
Yes. In the old days, it would have been one half or the other.
And you'd pair them together would be the deck. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. But here we are in this phase of Magic.
So effectively, shortcutting here.
I guess because he can go through his deck infinite times, he can just
Put
literally
every creature
choose,
into
and he
play.
can choose what order they come into play. Because even if you hit a card that you want but don't want, you don't have to reveal.
Yeah, oh, that's
so
true.
if you see, say, Kraytooth Behemoth first, you can just go failed
Skip.
find,
Yeah.
and then just keep going until you find it last.
Okay, that is very powerful.
Is that creature that we?
Oh, so I think okay. So just explain the shortcut here. He's basically just said, I can keep doing it until I get Spectral Sailor, then I can draw my whole deck,
and
then
then
I
just-
can get Finale of Devastation.
Or Ballista or anything else.
Yeah.
So you can draw his deck. Or no, that's Oracle is bad, but yes.
So wow, a mulligan to 4.
Yes,
Shows the
and
power
quite
of
the
combo
mulligan.
decks.
Right, well, we'll come back for game 3 for a gripping final. Hello, and welcome back to part 3 of our gripping final between Aaron and Tom.
So yeah, so game 1 obviously took quite a while. Game 2 was very fast. So it'll be interesting to see how this game goes. Going into the opening hands, Tom has, let's see what he's got here. Maze of Ith, 2 forests, Arid Archway, Titania's Command, Life from the Loam, and Scoot Swarm.
So no turn to
No turn
Azusa
to
in
Azusa.
hand, which seems a bit anemic. On the other hand, we got quite a fast start here with the Gemstone Caverns.
I thought you were effectively saying Gemstone Caverns kind of steals the play.
It kind of puts you on the play when you were on the draw, because you go down a card, but then you draw from being on the draw, so you're kind of the same number of cards as if you were on the play.
So how do you feel about these openings?
I think, well, Aaron's is a lot stronger.
Yeah.
But he's got the 2 mana rock, and he's stolen the play effectively from Tom, so he's going to be able to play it on his turn 1. And Tom's hand not being able to play turn 3 Azusa, and then having like the 6 mana Titania's Command.
Which again gets his AB combo piece.
It does. I mean, he said he can play it on turn 4, can't he, with
Yes.
what he's got in hand, but it's a little bit slower than you'd like. So as expected, we play out the Talisman.
Of Curiosity.
But Aaron's going to need something else to follow this up. 1 Talisman alone doesn't make Kinnan broken.
No.
They've got a bounce
So
land
he's
from Tom.
drawn into Volatile Storm Drake, the fixed Gilded Drake.
Oh, yes.
It's a card that I'm really curious to see how it plays, because I kind of want to be putting it in Octavia, and I keep putting it in and taking it out because I'm not sure it's good enough.
an interesting card, definitely. I mean, probably good against Kinnan because commander decks that are completely centered around their commander.
Yeah.
I think is probably very powerful against. Like my deck, as you know, my commander's almost an incidental piece, so
it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't really matter to me that much.
I think that the thing I like about Gilded Stormdrake is that you don't kill their commander, you steal it, so they can't just play it from the command zone again.
Yeah, I think it's most powerful when it's used against a commander. Using it against a random creature, I mean, giving your opponent a 3/2 flyer is no small
That's a real drawback.
Resource. Yeah. But
again, this is a pour over from this being a CDH deck, and in CDH, Gilded Drake is a lot more powerful.
I can see where it would be
because creature combat isn't really a thing. Your creatures are all combo pieces or draw effects like Esper Sentinel and stuff like that.
That makes sense. I'm curious to see what's going to get played here. This is
it feels pretty good.
True. Has Aaron got any lands to play? Is that a Bloom Tender in hand?
Yes, that's a Bloom Tender in his hand.
So he's got some more mana acceleration. Doesn't appear to have any more lands to play himself. And I know he stymies the mana development, but we were sort of talking off camera about how Azusa is quite powerful because once she's allowed the player to put extra lands into play, kind of killing her is a bit, shutting the barn door after the horse has bolted. The damage is already done.
So it's worth noting here that because Tom played the Maze of If instead of a mana-producing land, he can't now play Telenia's command next turn because he doesn't.
No.
He doesn't have the Azusa. He can't ramp into it.
No, very good. So we've got the Bloom Tender. So next turn we're going to have at least one Kinnan activation available.
So what's that? 1, 2, 3.
And then the lands themselves. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yes. Yeah.
And then we're playing a Spectral Sailor.
If he's not activating Kinnan, that gives him something else to be doing with his mana.
Indeed.
Mystery and Forest grabbing an island. I do feel like, again, taking the Azusa hasn't done as much for him, and he has given Tom a flyer, and he has no flyers or reach breaches and stuff, so he's given Tom a clock.
Yeah. I guess, again, maybe Gilded Stormdrake is better in a Kinnan style deck where you're combo killing.
Yes.
And you're not worrying about being pecked away by, effectively you're giving your opponent a Delver to kill you with.
He drew into Temple of the False Gods.
Just counting out the mana. Yes, okay. So that is a Dark Depths then, isn't it? There.
Unless he wants something else, but I can't imagine what would be better than that.
No, indeed. Okay, so now I think the advantage meter swings back in Tom's way now,
and he's put 2 counters onto the Stormdrake, making it a more legitimate threat.
Yes. Yeah, that's powerful. So he's going for Dark Depths, for Thespian Stage combo. So next turn he'll be able to make a 2020.
And then the turn after
that he'll be able to swing with it. So.
Although there is a Spectral Sailor.
True, we've got
so
a
that's chump blocking for a turn. So that's like almost 3 turns Aaron has.
Yes, which is a long, long time when you're facing up against.
And when you've got the Kinnan activations, and we know there's the Seed Bomb Muse in hand, which he can play to then get Kinnan activations every other turn.
Or twice a turn.
Oh, so twice around. Yeah.
Yeah, might as well start picking in with that 5-power flyer.
Thank you, Aaron.
Yes, indeed.
But apart from that, Tom.
See what Aaron does this turn. He'll have some options.
I assume that he wants to play the Seed Bomb Muse, and then
he can. An Academy Ruins.
Yeah, putting artifacts from graveyard back onto the deck makes a lot of sense when you're built around Basalt Monolith combo.
Yeah, absolutely.
So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He can play the Seed Bomb Muse, activate Spectral Sailor once.
And then untap, and then presumably activate Kinnan or multiple Spectral Sailors. Yeah.
Just clarifying, I think, for Tom, what Bloom Tender does there. Yeah, it's weird. I don't necessarily think Seed Bomb Muse is as strong here as it would be in CDH.
Well, if you've got multiple opponents, you get multiple untap steps, don't you?
A lot more powerful.
Yeah.
But it's probably still good enough in this Kinnan deck.
I don't hate it here.
Because of the mana sink you have.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so proceeding to activate the Spectral Sailor as we assumed. Seeing what he draws into. Is that?
It's blue X, sacrifice an artifact, get an artifact in CMC X. Something along those lines.
It gets him a Basalt Monolith.
Yeah, reshape or something like that. It gets him a Basalt Monolith, basically, when he sacks his talisman.
So that's very good. And then he can win the same way he did last time. Although he doesn't currently have a way to
No,
make
he doesn't have a way
mana.
to make infinite coloured mana this time.
Sure. So he'd be limited by his
how many?
mana sources.
He'd need 1 blue, 1 green for each activation of Kinnan, or 1 blue for draw a card effectively from Spectral Sailor.
So Tom, I'm presuming he's going to be making the Marit Large this turn.
He'd probably do it in Aaron's end step though.
Yeah, that
There's
would
no
make
real
sense.
reason to play it main phase. See if he's got anything else to do in addition to that.
I mean, if he had something like an Ugin to get rid of all of Aaron's stuff before he doesn't play after, that would be very powerful. Yeah. 3 mana there, keeping side.
Scoop Swarm, yeah.
Less good without the Azusa, but I mean he has enough lands for it to be online. So.
Oh, and he's got a Terramorphic Expanse.
That's
if
very
he gets
good.
a couple of activations of it. Nice.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago I was playing against Tom and I kind of went 1, 2, 3 and he was like, no, that's not how that works. I was like, oh no, that wouldn't be a good card. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, you can break things like Magic Arena with this card.
Without putting in much effort.
Well, yeah, you probably don't need to put in a lot of effort in generally.
Yeah, Scoop Swarm's a card you need to interact with very quickly, or you need a board wipe after that.
Yeah. Like, I just don't know if Aaron would be that worried with what his deck can do now that he knows he has his Basalt Monolith.
Yeah, he has his combo piece, and if Tom was to destroy it, he can get it back with the Academy Ruins and then draw it immediately with the Spectral Sailor. Yeah.
And he's kind of already under a clock with the Dark Depth, so having a different clock doesn't really change anything for Aaron here.
But Basalt Monolith is quite interesting that if it resolves and you activate it for mana, then go to untap it, you destroy it, they can just untap it again and keep comboing off. If I'm correct, if you have the mana to untap it again,
if you have the mana to untap it again,
on top of
it, yes, yeah, absolutely. You can make your infinite mana and then do stuff with it, yes. But you need to have the mana for the second untap activation.
And I believe all of Kinnan's everything in the combo is instant speed, so you can activate his ability at instant speed, so you could get the mana, activate it. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Part of why it's so good in CDH, the ability to win on top of other people's wins, or
I can see that.
Disruption.
Right, so another 5 in the air, probably not blocking with the Spectral Sailor this time.
It feels wrong, especially when you know about the Dark Depths. You kind of need to save your block for a lethal attack.
Well, I suppose taking another 5 does make Scoot Swarm perhaps a quicker kill than Dark Depths will be. I don't know.
I guess how valuable is that draw a card when you've got Kinnan's activation instead? It's probably a lot stronger.
Seems to be thinking about something.
What does Kinnan's activation grab?
It's non-human.
A non-human creature. Okay.
Correct.
So in response to the attack, he's activating
5, I
Kinnan?
think. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
That's a whiff.
Yeah. Which, if you build your deck to be quite combo-centric, Kinnan can whiff a lot.
But you don't really mind because you're activating it when you're doing it infinite times.
Yeah, exactly. He is going to
he's doing the trick.
Okay, fine. Well, like you said, he's got the mana sink already. Doesn't need multiple mana sinks.
Well, I guess my only worry about that is now Tom activates for Dark Depths in your end step.
Now the Dark Depths is just lethal. But infinite colorless mana, see what happens. So we can tap the talisman for mana first.
And then 1 blue, 1 green potentially.
And then sack it away.
Or double blue. What is it?
Kinnan adds the same mana as it produced.
Oh, not that it could have
produced. So you can't produce green blue with it.
Sure, it has to be 2 of the same.
Yes.
And so it's double blue X, you said, sacrifice an artifact, get 1 with the same CMC?
Yeah, I know you'll add it back in the editing, but I'm trying to work from memory. Because it used to be a part of a very old modern eggs deck where you would win with some crazy combo with artifacts.
Sounds like fun.
It was crazy, yeah. Was
it the second Sunrise?
That's it,
yeah. I love that deck.
That was one of the first decks I watched in a tournament.
Yeah.
As a new Magic player, sat down and watched a tournament, and I was like, oh my god, this deck is amazing.
But I mean, from what I have heard, it wasn't banned because it was broken, it was banned because of how long it took to win. Yeah,
similar to like the Sensei's Dividing Top ban. It was banned for gameplay reasons rather than power level reasons. So we are definitely getting the Basalt Monolith. I can't imagine you would get anything else in this situation. But the curious thing is what happens once the Basalt Monolith hits the field.
Because he
what
doesn't
are we going to do with this mana?
Unless there's a card in hand we haven't seen, he doesn't currently have a way to convert that into...
I think he's got maybe like 2 activations.
And then he gets more on Tom's next turn when he ends up to his permanence.
Yes,
so
true.
that gives him another window to kind of
True,
do
and I'm sure he's
something.
got flyers and he can spin into to then chump block the Larret Mage. But I don't know, that seems like a risky line. You'd want to try and win now, wouldn't you?
I mean, you can, definitely. I've heard it's always favourable to win now than win later.
You know, yeah, if you want to play that way. Sure.
So again, quite a lot of discussion, but that's the benefit of FNM.
That's what makes FNM different from something like Arena, where you actually get to interact with other people.
Yeah, apart from spamming the emote button, Arena doesn't offer much.
Oh, such fun interactions. Right, so we're presumably making infinite mana now.
Yep.
Tap the Bloom Tender.
Although infinite colourless mana, unfortunately.
Infinite colourless mana, yeah.
And I think he can get 4 coloured mana, which is 2 activations.
Believe
Oh no,
so,
he gets 5 coloured mana, 3 from the Bloom Tender.
Still 2 activations though, because you need green, blue for each activation.
Walking Ballista.
Walking Ballista is not a combo because it goes into play.
Enters the battlefield and dies instantly.
I would have thought so. I'm not sure. But then we've got Academy Runes.
Oh, which he
Spicy.
untaps. So that means that if Tom can't kill him next turn.
But he does have to survive an attack by
It's just
2020 in the air.
Yes. Okay. This is an interesting game. How is he planning on doing that?
Well, I think he's going to try and spin into a flying blocker.
Okay. So it's kind of a get
This
lucky
is
moment.
this is very much a get lucky moment if that's his plan. Unless I'm missing something.
There is
having
a
reach.
card in his hand that I can't make out. I don't recognise the artwork.
I don't know it either.
So either it's a get lucky moment or he's just got the perfect card in his hand.
I doubt he's playing like a give a creature in reach instant speed combat trick.
Don't assume he's playing Fog.
Or Fog.
Although it'd be a great moment
Fog
to
would
get got by
probably
Fog.
be more likely to, but we'll see. Let's see what happens.
So apart from the Marit Lage, there's 5 damage from the flyer and 4 Scoot Swarms, so that's 9 damage. That's not lethal. He only really needs the
He's
one
got enough
blocker.
blockers on the ground for the Scoot Swarm at the moment anyway,
True.
so yeah, that's probably not a factor.
So I'm not sure if Tom's just proceeding to combat, but I assume he would. I don't think Aaron's going to be activating this until Tom moves to combat.
I don't know if he would want to activate it in upkeep for any reason. I don't
Stop
think
Tom
so.
drawing a card to interact, maybe.
Maybe. It depends on what Aaron's putting in his deck. So this looks like 2 activations again.
He touched the ruins, but I don't think he's doing the Walking Blister now. No, yeah, he's activating now.
Because Roy wants to hold up the mana to be able to activate.
Is that a Tideborn?
Oh, very
Sprout or
good.
something?
Yeah, I mean that will do it. It's a flyer. It's like a 5/5 flyer, isn't it?
And what does it do? Is when you cast a
When
spell...
you cast a spell, you can bounce I think a non-land permanent, but
Okay.
it could be a land. It's an old card, so it might be able to bounce lands as well.
Well, that I feel like, unless Tom has something, that's probably one in the game.
If he says, well, it depends on whether or not he's got a spell to cast, because Kinnan doesn't count as casting a spell.
Well, but the
He's
important
just a
thing
chump
is
blocker. It's
he
just a
blocks
chump
the 2020, and then that
Yeah.
means he next turn gets the Ballista.
Yeah, you're right. And he whiffs on the second activation. Oh
No,
no, he
he gets
doesn't.
a Jinx
Sorry, he gets a
Axis.
Jinx Axis.
Very much
I
not
missed
worth
that.
it. And the important thing about this Kinnan activation is that when you activate Kinnan, you have to respond before then, because once the Jinx Axis is
Yeah.
chosen, there's no window where Tom can cast
No.
a spell, so
No.
that's a nice little bit of protection there as well. Activating again and getting a card I don't recognise at all.
I don't recognise. It's like an older.
Unless it might be the card that transmutes. I think it's a defender that transmutes.
Possibly. I'll take your word for it.
That was a guess. So yeah, Tom moves to combat and attacks.
So it looks like the third card we weren't sure about maybe flies, because it seems
Yeah.
to be being moved around. Yes, it's going to
a
chump.
flying defender. but
And
you
it's
can-
going to
yeah.
trade.
Yeah, good.
Okay. And then I think that's it, as you said.
Although he's tapped the... Oh, he activated the runes and upkeep.
Yeah, upkeep, yeah.
See what Tom has
Tom's
here.
got, yeah. I think we're
Tapping
just reading your
5
academy rules again, just to make sure you haven't mucked this up and you can do the thing that you think you can do.
Yeah. Tom's counting his mana. It's always scary when Tom counts his mana.
Yes.
He always has so much of it.
And with Convoking,
okay, Chord of Cooling.
which should get countered, should it, by Jink-Taxes?
Yes.
Unless I misremember.
No, you're right. Jink-Taxes counters the first cast instant sorcery or artifact spell. But I don't really think Tom read the card when it was put into play, so...
No, but then it's Aaron's trigger to remember. Yeah.
I guess I was more trying to say, I don't think Tom's trying to
oh no, neither do I. No, I don't think so.
Just
but similar to the Ugin from the earlier game,
yes.
Getting rid of that is just something that's been missed.
I wonder what Tom's grabbing here. So what, he's tapped 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11? That's not enough for Emrakul, is it? How much is the Emrakul?
But Emrakul, I presume Emrakul is a cast trigger because it's an Eldrazi, so I don't think he would even get
you're right.
benefit
he wouldn't steal
from
anything.
that.
He's getting prime time, in which case I think he overtapped for that Chord of Cooling.
You're allowed to do that. I'm pretty sure it was X or less.
Maybe he wasn't sure he was grabbing.
It was just a Hail Mary, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
And
prime time
lands tapped, so any utility lands are unlikely to do anything for him here.
I mean, if he could have got the Rich Import untapped somehow, but even then, he doesn't have a window because Aaron activates for land that's already tapped. If he
you can't. Yes, Rich Import doesn't stop Academy Runes putting Ballista back on top. It doesn't work like that.
So he's just grabbing 2
the life gain lands. Which will then make him a bajillion.
Yeah,
Scoot
4
Swarms.
goes to 8, goes to 16, and goes to 32 to 64. I believe he gets 64 here.
Crazy.
So, I mean, if Aaron forgets what he can do...
Yeah, if he misclicks.
If he misclicks. Good old arena wins.
Yes, indeed.
But, I mean, I feel like at this point it's very safely Aaron's game.
It seems to be on board win.
Yeah.
So, especially now that
and we've seen him looking at the ruins. He knows he has the ability to do it.
Yeah.
So the Chord of Cooling sheet doesn't seem to matter.
Oh dear.
So yeah, upkeep, ruins the Ballista.
Yep.
Draw for turn, infinite colourless mana.
Yeah.
And I mean, he also copies the spell of Jink-Taxes.
For what it's worth, he'll have 2 infinite-sized ballistas, and then Tom extends the hand, and that's the match.
Congratulations, Aaron. First time at the finals. Hopefully see you back someday.